When it comes to raising perfect canine companions, I have two mandatory things that I think every owner and every dog should do. You should loose lead walk your dog because that fixes 99% of problem behaviors outside of the home. And you should crate train your dogs because that prevents and fixes 99% of problems inside of the home. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about some top tips to help make sure that you can crate train your dogs perfectly. So when it comes to crate training, guys, of course, we want our dogs to love being in their crate, but something that a lot of people skip over is getting them to love going in to their crate. If you always create tension and frustration and are dragging your dog into the crate, you're immediately setting yourself off on a bad start to be able to achieve success. So one of the very, very first things that you want to be doing is getting your dog to be comfortable going in and out of the crate of their own accord. Now, I was going to demonstrate that to you with my mate, young Reginald, down here, of exactly how I go about doing that, and he's already decided he wants to dive in. Let me show you, Reggie. So I get a piece of food, and literally all I do is throw it into the crate. And he can have some food in there. Now, obviously, he's further down the crate training process than you guys might be. If he goes into the crate and comes straight back out, that's absolutely fine. Right now, he's waiting for me to break to let him know that he can come out of the crate, and he waits in the crate until I tell him otherwise. That's a little bit further down the line. But again, we just want to build that process, Reg, where they're comfortable going in and out of their crate. So get break. So get a nice high value reward, and he goes in the crate. That's exactly what you want it to look like. That they love being in their crate so much that so many good things happen in their crate that they want to go in. And that's exactly what he's doing now. He's going, okay, if I go in my crate and I wait with good manners, Dad might give me a treat because good things happen in the crate. And I'm like, yes, mate, they do. So be comfortable going in and out of the crate, and that builds that foundation of the crate being an amazing place. Now, the next tip, guys, is about the crate itself. You need to make sure that you're choosing the right size crate for your dog if you want the crate training to be as successful as possible. Now, there is a few things to think about when it comes to choosing the right size crate. Now, you need to follow a few simple rules. Your dog needs to be able to stand up, fully stood up, and for their head or their back not to be pushing up against the roof of the crate. You want them to be able to lie down on their side and stretch their legs out fully, and for them not to be squashed up because it's too narrow. Any more than that, and it becomes too big. We want to tap into a dog's denning nature. It's why so many dogs love squeezing under sofas or hiding under tables. They find it really nice and reassuring to them. Tapping into that denning nature is going to be really important for your dog, especially when it comes to toilet training. If you have too big of a crate for your dog, what they can do is sleep at the back and toilet at the front, or vice versa. Now, I've got a bunch of crates here at my training center, and you can see that this type of crate is excellent for a puppy. A young puppy will fit in this. Now, there's a couple of things that you need to think about in terms of planning for your dog's crates long term. I had my puppy Reggie in this crate, but he very quickly grew out of it. This is what you would class as a very traditional sized crate. Spaniels to Labradors, fully grown, will fit in here. If you've got a slightly bigger dog, similar dimensions, it's just longer, gives them a little bit more space. If you're moving into the very large breeds, you've got something like this, big German Shepherds, moving into some of the smaller Mastiff breeds. And then if you've got an absolute whopper of a dog, I could probably sleep in this thing, but English Mastiffs, Great Danes, those kinds of breeds will end up in a crate this kind of size. A lot of crate companies will allow you to buy a crate like this, and they'll have dividers in them. So you could start out with a big crate like this that you think will be perfect for your dog when they're fully grown, but you pop a divider plate in, which for when they're puppies, gives them this much space. And then as they grow, you can move it back to here. And then when they're a bit too big for that, you can move it back to here. And then when they're a bit too big for that, you can move it back to here. And when they're a bit too big for that, you just remove the divider plate and they've got the entire crate. Whichever one you want is really up to you. It doesn't matter, but you just need to think about that idea. Can they stand up? Can they turn around comfortably? Can they lie down and stretch their legs? That's the right size for your dog, and it'll make crate training way easier. If it's much bigger than that, you might not be able to have the toilet training success that comes with crate training. So the next top tip for crate training is that you have to build duration, and you have to build duration slowly and not push it too quick. As you go through the crate training process, it's an unfair expectation to take your dog from going in and out to maybe you've just got to the point where they can close the door and be pretty chill for a few seconds to them thinking that they'll happily stay in their crate for 3 or 4 hours. You need to build that duration slowly over time. And what that eventually looks like is what I've got with my mate Uncle Sully here. Whether the door's open or whether it's closed, if I ask him to stay there, he will stay there, happy, content, chill, no problem. He might just be observing me now, wondering what we're doing, or he might just go, you know what, I'm gonna have a little bit of a nap. And it doesn't matter what's going on around us, and it doesn't matter if I pop out for an hour or two to go to the shops, he's more than happy to be able to stay in there, and he's really content and not a problem whatsoever. Now guys, I'm hoping that I'm convincing you of the power of crate training, and I'm hoping there's tons of value here in this video to help you get started. But the reality is that we can't cover absolutely everything about crate training in a small YouTube video like this. But if you do want my complete crate training masterclass, I've got a course that covers exactly that. There'll be a link to that in the description box below. But what's beautiful is that my crate training masterclass is included in my Perfect Canine Companion bundle course, which is all of my courses combined to help you have a perfect canine companion. So if you're struggling with anything else like pulling or reactivity or recall or leveling your leadership skills up or your obedience training, all of that's covered, and there's a special discount to that course. Again, if you follow the link in the description box below. And what's beautiful is those of you that know I run a canine sanctuary where we help rescue dogs that have been stuck in rescues for years or are at risk of euthanasia completely free of charge, go all the way through to Perfect Canine Companion and then help their transition into their forever home. The reason that we're able to do that and help so many dogs in my sanctuary project is that we use the profits from those courses to be able to run my sanctuary. So not only will you get what I believe is the most useful course in the dog training industry, but you'll know that you're supporting all of the rescue dogs that we work with at my sanctuary as well. So again, link if you're interested in learning more about that. But if not, let's keep rolling on with the video. So once we've built up that concept that the crate is a nice place to be, eventually we have to get to that point where we can shut them in the crate. So you have to go through the process of closing the door. Now, once you've got your dog happy to kind of go in, happy to come out, what you want to do is, again, everything's about slowly and work up to it. And literally what I would be doing with a dog is closing the door, 1, 2, and pay in position. What I don't ever want to do is the door opens and the dog charges out. So I'm giving him access. I've got some really high value treats here. He's having a little nibble, close the door. 1, 2, 3. Open the door, little nibble, little nibble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Break. And then release him. And that would be a really successful first session of just building up a little bit of time, just getting them used to the door closes. Don't panic when the door closes, just relax. If you stay relaxed, the door's going to open, a good thing will happen, and just building this concept of the door opening and the door closing. Now, we've got lots of other games that we play with crates that really work on a lot of the concepts, including helping them love being in the crate, amazing positive associations with the crate, desensitizing the idea of the door closing, some of the other tips and tricks that we're going to talk about later in this video. But again, you have to break things down. It might seem really simple. Go in the crate and stay in your crate. But to a dog, that needs to get broken down into lots of steps. Being comfortable going in and out of the crate, being comfortable staying in the crate, being comfortable having the crate door closed and the crate door open. All of these things are little steps that, again, when you build up to it properly, you'll have a dog that, even though he's on a break, is going, I want to go back in the crate, because being in the crate is an amazing place. Now, the next tip, if you want to successfully crate train your dog, is that at some point we have to have the ability to interrupt unwanted behaviors in the crate. Some dogs, given the choice, would always rather be sleeping on your feet rather than in a crate. And if they learn that to get out of the crate, they have to cry, they have to bark, they have to whinge, and you'll eventually come and open the door, and they think the reason you've opened the door is because they've been displaying those unwanted behaviors. At some point, you have to have the ability to communicate to them, hey buddy, no, stop. But when it comes to crate training, there's a few different ways that you can do it. And I like to work up the kind of level of interruption slowly. And what it might be a case of is that I'll pop a dog in a crate and I might be back here, and ideally I'm in a place where they might not even know that I'm waiting for them. We've gone through the whole process, we've made it as fun as possible, going in and out, closing the door, we're starting to build duration, and we've noticed that actually after a couple of minutes they always just start crying, barking, making silly decisions. So at that point I have to interrupt the decision. The very easiest way to do that might just be a very firm shush, like this. And just so you know, guys, there's no dog in this crate. This is just for demonstration purposes, because it's not fair, because all the dogs here are already beautifully crate trained and being really calm around my studio, and I don't want to be interrupting them for making beautiful decisions. But that enough might just be enough to say, hey, stop, that's not appropriate. The next step might be a simple shush and then just a tap on top of the crate, and just that noise is not physically uncomfortable to the dog whatsoever. We're just trying to snap them out of it, just startle it. And if every time they start to build, it just gets interrupted with a verbal interruption or just a bit of a tap on top of the crate, 9 times out of 10, that's all that's ever needed. Now what a lot of people might say is, okay, but what happens if I need to go out the other room? My dog's fine if I'm in the room, but as soon as they realize that I'm not in the room, it kicks off. Really, really easy solution for that. I'm gonna give you a special trick. Get a long line. Clip your long line to a metal part of your crate. It might be through one of these holes if you've got a really premium crate like this. If you've got a more budget crate that's kind of bars, just clip it onto the bars. Loop the long line around the doorway, go and stand in your hall out the way so the dog doesn't know you're there, and as soon as they start to build, shush from the hallway and you can rattle on the lead. And the metal attachment onto the metal bar will rattle the crate in a similar way to Will. And again, it's just about interrupting those decisions, just challenging those bad decisions. So we're making the crate a great place while simultaneously helping them understand, hey, don't be silly, don't make those noises. As soon as you make those noises, I'm just gonna have to tell you and interrupt you. However, we then have a duty of care to make sure that, they've actually just broke their record. They're 5 minutes in and they've been beautiful. I'm gonna really calmly come in and I'm just gonna drop a treat through the side of the cage, not gonna make a big fuss out of it, I'm not gonna raise their arousal levels, and then I'm gonna walk out. But I'm gonna help them understand that good things happen when they're calm and quiet. They only ever get out of the crate when they're calm and quiet, and if they make silly decisions, I have the ability to be able to interrupt those decisions effectively. Job's a good one. Your dog will be crate trained, which will help prevent or cure separation anxiety. It'll help prevent or cure any toilet training issues, and it'll help prevent or cure destructive behaviors around the home, which are the 3 behaviors that most commonly get dogs in shelters or on the euthanasia table when it comes to problems inside the home. All of which can be fixed with crate training, which is why crate training is a mandatory part of my system, and I believe every single dog and every single dog owner should crate train their dogs. So then guys, I hope that video was packed full of tips to help you crate train your dogs perfectly and understand the beautiful power of crate training. Now again, if you want more information on the step-by-step guide to be able to crate train your dogs perfectly, those links will be in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching the video. Subscribe if you are new here. We make videos like this every single week to help you become a high-level canine leader that can raise and train perfect canine companions that you can enjoy life together with.